So I wanted to talk to other diabetics and found this news group. It was called Alt Support Diabetes UK. And I actually discovered diabetic people who knew what they were doing. They knew how to manage their disease, they knew what was good for you, and contrary to the NHS advice, it was limit your carbs. That was just an amazing piece of information that I was so surprised. And what you have to realise is that diabetes is actually a very controllable disease. It's one of the few diseases where the patient can have a tremendous input into their own control. I'm 99% of my own diabetes team. I look after my diabetes. I found that this was really incredibly empowering and I wanted to pass it on. And so while the news group was excellent for information, it wasn't technically all that easily accessible. So I started having a look around the internet generally, and I found a UK diabetes forum, which was very quiet, almost moribund really. And the few people who came wandering in, feeling very confused and everything, I found that I could give them advice. And I really enjoyed that. So anyway, after a little while, Terry came along, and Terry I had met on the news group. And we spread the word to a couple of other people from the news group, and they started coming into this forum and giving it some life. And eventually, when it got busier, it obviously needed moderators. So Terry and I were asked to be moderators. And not long after that, the owner said he was fed up with it and he was closing it down. So we said, well, can we have it? And he said no. So we said, okay, well, what we'll do then, we'll start a forum of our own. We then had quite a lot of conversations between us about what we wanted the forum to be, and we decided that we wanted it to be a community of friends who would support each other in a non-judgmental way, whilst giving practical help and sharing experiences and equipping people with the right questions to ask their doctors and their healthcare professionals. What works? The main success of the forum, and it is very successful, is due to the members and their knowledge and inspiration. We deal with emotions that can only be understood from the perspective of another diabetic. In a well-managed forum, those members with knowledge will trickle it down in a manner that in no way patronises or belittles the person they're talking to. Unfortunately, some of the healthcare professionals can be patronising and do make you feel like a naughty child. And at 64 years old, I really don't want to be talked to like a naughty child. Anyway, what I was going to say is that we need to work together with mutual respect. Look at the forums. Look at what patients are saying works for them and what their aspirations are. Strangely enough, new discoveries and breakthroughs only seem to endorse what patients have been saying for years. What I'd like to see is us working together. Despite the fact there's a UK forum, we've got members from all over the world. They all belong to other forums in their own countries, so there's a lot of cross-pollination goes on. And it doesn't take long for good or bad news about companies to whiz around the world into all the different forums. You'll find they're all talking about the same thing. And it often feels as though nobody's taking any notice of us. At the end of the day, we're the experts in diabetes management. In the real world, we know that not everything works as it says on the tin. We're experts because we need to be. We don't pack up and go home at 5 o'clock. Our lives depend on our own management of our own disease 24 hours a day. So taking an interest in what's being said on different forums, not just ours, could inform your company in many ways. From how to train your customer service, what advances in technology are needed. And similarly, we follow developments eagerly, so we'd be happy and really thrilled if you came and told us about them. So, put simply, we just need to develop a way of communicating and working together to make the management of chronic disease easier. In conclusion, listen with an open mind, look at the forums, but don't interfere by planting people, and find a way of working with us. We're happy, we're willing to start that dialogue, and I hope you are.